So I own a barbershop in San Jose, California called the Barbers Inc. Got some ice to show. But it's a 15 barber shop, and 5 of my barbers are females. One of the female barbers has a barber license. The other 4 operate in the barber shop, cut men's hair, but they have cosmetology licenses. And as of late, a lot of women have been moving towards barbering and working in either a men's salon, right, salon that targets male clients, or working in a barber shop, just with the cosmetology license, which is perfectly fine. But barbershops can be intimidating for women. It's kind of like a whole lot of guy code going on, right? A whole bunch of guys, locker room talk, intimidating, a lot of fade work. But I know, because I've seen it and I've helped cosmetologists develop, women can be very successful in barbering with the right tools. And I have a formula for success in whatever you do. I don't care if you cut grass for a living. If you have the proper tools, you have the proper technique, with repetition, you'll be successful. But for example, if you do cut grass for a living and you had to cut grass with a weed eater, it's not gonna be an efficient tool to actually cut the grass with. That's a detail tool, right? Something you use to kind of clean up the edges or hit a couple weeds. The same goes with hair. And unfortunately, in cosmetology school, they give you guys some of the lower end clippers. Barber school, barber targeted programs, they give a little bit higher grade clippers. But cosmetology schools, I feel bad when I go in and teach, because I'm on stage using the top of the line professional stuff, and I'm looking at the kit clippers that some cosmetology schools give out, and it's like, whoa, they have that same clipper at TJ Maxx and Ross. So one thing I want to tell you guys is it's important to invest in your tools, whether they're clippers, whether they're flat irons or blow dryers or shears or a mat for the floor. You need to invest in stuff that's going to help you do the job you need to get done. For those of you that are focused on color, right, getting the proper tools, getting the proper education with color is what's going to help you be successful. But if you want to get better at men's haircuts, if you want to achieve the results that you see on Instagram, on Barbershop Connect, or all these repost pages, you have to invest in your tools. And I say invest, I don't say buy, because you guys chose this as a career. So every dollar that you spend towards your career, it's an investment. You buy clothes, you buy food, you buy stuff that doesn't really matter. But if you spend money that goes towards your career, it's an investment. Whether that's the $25 you paid to get in this hair show, or the $80 that you spent on clippers. So don't hesitate to continue to invest in yourself through education, through hair shows, and definitely through tools. Does that make sense? Yeah. That I see it.
Close the door.
And part of the problem is that you guys just don't understand clippers like some of the barbers. So what I want to do is I want to break down and tell you guys first the 3 clippers that every professional should have. Every student as well. If you're doing hair commercially, every person doing hair commercially needs to have this, which is called an adjustable blade clipper. You identify that by the lever on the side. Moving the lever adjusts the blade and adjusts the length of hair that's being cut. You guys need an adjustable blade clipper. Does everybody know what this is? I already gave everybody combs, so I should have kept them and made you answer my questions, damn it. This is a trimmer, exactly. Everybody doing commercial hair needs a trimmer. A trimmer is identified by being smaller. Usually it has a T-blade. And this is designed for detail work. Around the ears, lining up beards, mustaches, cleaning up the neckline. But it's not designed to do heavy cutting. It's designed for detail work. The third type of clipper that Andis recommends everybody have is this. Does anybody know what type of clipper this is?
The one where the thing comes off.
Okay, you're on the way.
I forgot what it's called.
All right, what's the thing?
The blade.
Bingo.
Removable blade. Attachment blade.
Detachable blade. What's your name?
Kelly.
Kylie?
Kelly?
Kelly. Oh, Kelly here.
Oh.
Good answer. It's called a detachable blade clipper. And a detachable blade clipper is identified by a blade that detaches. And this is how you change the length of hair that the haircut. It's crazy, right? He's hilarious, man. Everywhere we go.
Joseph Rene, are you talking
Yeah, that's my friend. He's a real good guy. He always makes me smile. But a detachable blade clipper is identified by a blade that detaches. And changing the size of the blade will change the length of hair you're cutting. This clipper here, any detachable blade clipper, actually from any manufacturer, is the most powerful clipper on the market. It cuts bulk fast. This cuts hair extremely efficient and cuts a lot of it. We talk about what I'm going to do that? No. So I can do what I want here, my model, right? So the third type of clipper is detachable blade. If you only have one or two of these types of clippers, then it's important that you invest and get the other one. Period. For those of you that are still in school, 8-10 years might seem like forever away, but it's going to come. And in that time span, you're going to use all the tools you have. Whether you invest now or whether you invest later, the sooner that you guys have the proper tools, the sooner you guys can use them and get your reps in and get better at them and know when and where and how to use them. So if you're missing one of these, I highly suggest that you go to the Burmax booth and at least see what's there. Does that make sense? And you can ask questions. Why is this one better? Why is that one better? Why do I need this one instead of that one? So this is a Super ZR and this is a cordless detachable blade clipper. At the booth, we also have the BGR, which is a corded detachable blade clipper, but probably more powerful than the cordless clipper. Bingo. So I'm going to use my detachable blade clipper for bulk. Does anybody here watch football? Yeah? No? Okay, you know who Odell Beckham is?
Yes.
Everybody. So I'm gonna give him we're giving him the Odell Beckham, which is a popular style now. And even if not so amongst adults, kids like high school kids, anybody in high school and below, even in college. I mean, we do haircuts like this day in and day out at the barbershop. It's a very popular style where you'll give a client a tight fade underneath, and the top will just rock out. They'll usually curl it with a curling sponge or sometimes a texturizer, and also color the top like this. So in our barbershop, we perform this service, from the ground up. Guys come in no color, apply the color, do the haircut, get the hair curly, and send them on their way. But it's a really, really, really popular style nowadays. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna give Donovan a low fade that ties into his curls on top. And I'm gonna use my BGR to start the fade guideline. So what I'm doing now is I'm using the first rule of clipper cutting, which is always use a circular motion. And if you see, when I get to the top of my stroke, I'm rocking off and I'm starting again. So the clipper isn't moving up and down. The clipper's moving in a circle like this. Make sense? What does that do? What does moving in a circular motion do? You have all the answers.
I don't know actually.
What do you think it does?
It doesn't make the line, you're not gonna mark the line?
That's exactly the answer I was looking for. When you move your clipper in a circular motion, it creates a less harsh weight line. Does that make sense? And creating a softer weight line is going to make it easier to fade it out later. So rule 1 of clipper cutting, use your circular motion. I'm going to bald out the bottom of Donovan's hair. You know you got to take your shirt off after this haircut, right? You're shy. This dude has like a 12-pack. He doesn't even have a 6-pack. He's my little brother, by the way, so I can tease him. This might make YouTube, Donovan. Is this gonna make YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I'm gonna use my circular motion, go all the way around his head to create the outline or my first guideline to his fade. And as I'm moving the clipper up his scalp, I'm feeling for his bone structure. when I get to about the middle portion of his head, I feel the shape of his head change, and that's where I'm pulling the clipper off of his scalp. You'll get a guy that will ask for a medium fade, a high fade, or a low fade. Does everybody know the difference? Yeah, no?
Low is where you, right here, between the other one, it comes here, right?
I'm listening.
The median, and the high, above. Yes?
What you want to do is you want to look for identification points on the head, right? And I identify the temple points always. A low fade is going to land below the temple points. A medium fade is going to land at the temple point. And a high fade or a high and tight is going to land above the temple point. And it's everybody's head shape different. Some guys have receding hairlines, but generally, those are the points I look for when deciding if it's a low, a medium, or a high fade.
Can I make a suggestion? Like we are in the school. If you have like a doll head, then that to mark that because it's, I mean like to remember and put it in your station, so you know then that like everything you were explaining. So it's right there. If somebody asks you for low fade, so you will see it right there, and you will say, oh, this is the haircut he's asking me. The line I'm gonna create the line right here.
That's a great suggestion. That's what she's saying, right? Sometimes in barber school, when we go to do our 14-point shaving straight razor shave, we'll draw the sections with the marker on the doll head's or mannequin's face. So you guys can do a similar thing with the guy mannequin. You can draw points to identify whether something's a low, a medium, or a high fade. Great. What's your name?
Lily.
Lily?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome, Lily. Where are you from, Lily?
I'm from Mexico, originally.
Originally? Where do you live now?
I live here in Los Angeles.
What city?
I'm Hollywood.
Oh, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hollywood. Hollywood got me in trouble last night. No, I'm teasing. I'm not in trouble.
Are you really?
Did anybody go out last night?
Oh, Sunday.
Am I the only one, damn it, with a hangover? No, I'm teasing. There's no hangover. That's just a joke. So, we've given Donovan our first guideline to the fade. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my adjustable blade clipper. I'm going to open it all the way up. With the adjustable blade clipper, Andis has a mathematical situation down with the blades and with attachment combs. It will help you create soft transitions throughout a haircut. So the technique I'm going to use to start off Donovan's fade is fading with attachment combs. The Andis Master, all the way closed, the lever all the way closed is a 000. Question?
No.
Oh, I seen that hand.
Sorry.
Just getting the hair out of your face. All the way closed is a 000. All the way open is a 1/16. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it all the way up to a 1/16, which is commonly referred to as a 1. But once you start working with clippers and detachable blades and guards, you'll see that sometimes the number doesn't always add up to the exact length. So I like to use lengths. So open it's a 1/16, and I'm going to use my circular motion, and I'm going to cut into or past our guideline about the width of a taper comb. I'm only going this far into the fade. And I'm going to go all the way around. What is that keeps getting caught? It's my shoe. Put you in a headlock if it happens again. See, the beauty of having an older, younger brother. I'm the oldest of 5 boys, by the way. And no matter how old we get, we still treat each other like we're 12 and 13. It's crazy. I'll beat you up. I'll tell mom. So I went all the way around Donovan's head, and I created what's called a transition area. Mathematically, we know the lengths. We have a 000 underneath. This is a 1/16. This here, we don't know what it is yet. It's the hair we haven't cut, right? So you guys remember where we were? You remember the math? 000, 1/16 hair that we haven't cut. Now I'm going to introduce the second rule of clipper cutting to you guys. Rule 1 is always use a what type of motion?
Circular.
Circular. Perfect. Second rule, anytime you fade or anytime you blend, you only use 3 teeth. 3 teeth on the left or 3 teeth on the right. You know why that is? Why do you only want to use 3 teeth on a blade?
So you don't create another line?
That's one definite reason. If you use the whole blade, you're going to create another weight line. Another reason, you're going to take too much hair. And that low fade is going to turn into a medium fade, and it's going to be a high and tight before you know it. You want your electric shear to act as a thinning shear. Right? Imagine that. So right now when you fade, you're not trying to cut hair, you're just trying to soften the transition or take weight, take bulk out of a weight line. Yes?
So doing it with the 3 teeth, is that kind of similar to if you were to take a taper comb and angle it out and then clean it up that way? Like, will it get the same effect?
So you're talking about another technique, which is clipper over comb.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use some clipper over comb blending in this haircut.
Okay.
However, when you get clipper over comb can only go so tight. You can't give a 0 fade with clipper over comb. Purposely, if you look at the anatomy of Anda's clipper combs, did I see yours? Purposely, the width of the comb is almost exactly the width of the clipper blade. Mathematically, this here is 1/8 of an inch. Right? So using clipper over comb, I can get as close to 1/8. And we see when I slide the comb through the hair that's the 1/16 we don't see. But once we get into the hair that we haven't cut yet, it sticks through the clipper comb. Right? So when you're going tight, like to a 0 or to a half, or then you can't. It's too early to use clipper over comb. But clipper over comb is an amazing technique. It saves a lot of time, and I use it on most all of my haircuts. So we're going to take 3 teeth on the right side of the clipper. My thumb is going to be on and off the fading lever, and I'm going to use my circular motion. You guys can hear the hair being cut. And I'm going to soften this weight line.
It's pretty quiet. The
Very
clipper,
quiet.
yeah. I like that.
So the Andis Master uses a magnetic motor. We talked about the 3 types of clippers earlier. There are 3 types of motors that are in clippers. Right? And understanding the type of motor that's in a clipper is going to help you it's going to help you choose what clipper you want to execute a certain cut. Magnetic motors are quiet, like this is on. You can't hear it. Right? It's a high-speed motor. This motor spins at 13,000 rotations per minute. The silence of the motor helps you hear the hair being cut. So when fading, you know how much hair you're cutting. And I can adjust the length with the fading lever according to how loud of a noise that it's making with the cut hair. So we've started to blend out this bottom weight line here using 3 teeth blending. And if we identify the sides, they might not look exactly the same yet, but our circular motion earlier helped us create a soft weight line. Does that make sense? So now we're using our 3 teeth blending to start to reduce the weight in that weight line. So with 3 tooth blending, there are 4 fading positions. The positions are left under. This is called left under because we're going to use the left 3 teeth of the blade. The remaining portion of the blade is off the scalp, but it's under the desired hair we're cutting. This is left over because we're using the left side of the blade. The remaining blade is over the hair that we're trying to cut. Right under, right over. Why do we need 4 different fading positions?
The structure, no?
It's not so much with the bone structure or shape of the skull, but it's the grain or the direction of the hair.
Because the
You
type
want to
of the-
fade against the grain.
the grain, because the type of the hair too. It's
No, it doesn't matter the texture of hair because you'll use 4 fading positions on all textures. What is directly related to is the direction. You want to fade against the grain. And as you see direction of hair, it's harder to see because his hair is dark. But his hair might go this way, then when it gets down to the neck, it goes this way. Then he has a cowlick over here. So adjusting to the direction or the grain of the hair is going to dictate which of the 4 fading positions you use. Does that make sense?
yeah, that because I hear like they ask, like one of the in the school they asked, do you want me to do it against the grain? And I didn't get what.
Awesome. So generally speaking, depending on how you're cutting hair, also going against the grain is going to cut it tighter. So if I put a number 2 guard on a clipper and I go with his grain or against, I'm going to get a different length cut. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
A 2 with the grain is going to actually leave the hair longer than a 2 against. So you always want to fade against the grain. And excuse me for my angles. I don't know if you ladies can see over there, but the lighting is terrible. Does anybody in the audience have an Andis Master? You do? Do you like it?
Yes, we have to, Barbers, they need it all types, They
Yeah?
need to have that one too. The one you say, this one, the master.
Yeah.
And if we have the other one. I mean, everything is useful, It's like tools, like different kind of. And
Correct. When you invest in tools, you'll turn around and have a collection. I keep at least a minimum of probably 12 clippers on my station that I have easy access to. 6 are corded, and maybe 6 to 8 are cordless. So we've just gone around the entire bottom weight line, which was our original guideline. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to relook at the length, 000, 1/16, hair we haven't cut, right? You remember what I said, this Andis Master, the length it cut closed? What length is it closed?
0,
What is it open?
116.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do now is, because of the guard system, I'm going to grab my 0 guard. Can you tell me what length this is?
116.
Exactly. So this is my 1/16 attachment comb, which means that the length that this cuts all the way open is the same exact length it will cut if this is closed and this is on. Does that make sense? So now I can pick up right where I left off and put a 1/16 attachment comb on, and now I'm going to attack the next level of weight, not going into it more than the width of a clipper or of a taper comb, using my circular motion, continuing to adjust the fading lever relative to how much hair is being cut. It's important not to go too far into the weight also. If you take too much weight, you're going to create a situation where the fade line moves. We don't want to do that. We're not cutting hair. What we're doing is we're removing bulk or softening the weight line. As with all hair, especially horsehair or African American hair, you want to have a comb or a brush in your opposite hand. That way you can reset or readjust the hair as you cut through it. Sometimes a brush works well. A brush works really well when you're doing the low fade because it will brush all loose debris or all previously cut hair away. So my barbershop is right on the main street through downtown San Jose. I'm 1 block from City Hall, and I'm 1 block from San Jose State, which has 30,000 college kids. And one advantage that barbers in California have over barbers in other parts of the country and the world is our diversity here. When I go to Philadelphia, a black barbershop's a black shop. When I go to Miami or certain parts of New York, a Spanish shop's a Spanish shop. And there are areas where, white shops in Boston, they're just white shops. But in California, and especially, LA and the Bay Area, look around the room, you'll see all nationalities, all hair textures. So if you want to be good at barbering, you're going to have to get used to cutting all hair textures. And you're going to have to understand that Asian hair might look like Latino hair, but it doesn't fall the same. Right? It's thicker. And a gentleman, if you hit that cowlick wrong, what's it going to do? Stick straight in the air. And here, right, with us being exposed to so many cultures, we understand that. We know we can't cut an Asian guy's hair like we're going to cut, a Mexican guy. Right? But at the same time, you can cut 3 Mexican clients in a row and then have the ability to cut a black client. Right? And that's an advantage that we have here. So what I want to tell everybody is if there's a hair texture that you're not the best at now, focus now. Take those type of clients now. That way when you get into the real world, you're not turning down any money. You don't want to be in a salon or a barbershop and somebody walk in and you're like, holy crap, I don't know how to cut Asian hair. I don't want to do it. Right? Because then you're losing money. You're losing money, period. So now while you're in school, focus on your weaknesses. The stuff you're good at, you're going to continue to get better at. That's just the nature with things you're good at, right? Because it will eventually become second nature. But the areas where you're not good, the areas where you have already identified weaknesses or you're scared, right? You got to step out on that limb. Force yourself to overcome those hurdles now, because later it's going to be hard. What happens now if you mess up this haircut? Instructor, right? Fellow student, come help me. You can't do that in the salon. Person's gonna jump up, start cussing, slamming clippers on the ground. I'm not paying for this shit. Excuse my language, right? But understanding how to cut all hair textures and how to approach it is very important. I have a friend of mine who does hair in Calabasas, right? And she was talking about how a lot of Persian hair or people from Jerusalem or the Middle East is curly like mixed women's hair, right? So she says, I have to do people from, I have a lot of clients that are Jewish. I have to do their hair the same way I would treat African American hair. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So just understand all hair textures because it will really help you in your career. If there's something you're scared of, that's what you want to tackle. So we're going to continue attacking the weight line with our 1/16 attachment comb. And it's not cutting much. So I'm constantly readjusting the blade. I'm constantly readjusting the blade and resetting the hair with my brush. So after I cycle all the way around the weight using the 1/16, I'm going to step up to the next level, which is the 1/8. And I'm going to use the same technique, 3-tooth blending, and I'm going to attack the next level of weight.
How long does it usually take you to do a haircut?
I book in my barbershop in 30-minute slots. So, and I work long days. I usually, on a full day, do in between 20 to 30 haircuts.
You're a master.
I'm a rookie.
You're a master. You know,
I'm a
like,
rookie.
how
I'm
many
still a
years?
rookie.
Like I probably would take like me, like close to an hour. I was saying.
So I'll say this: I work with barbers, cosmetologists that want to be barbers, and I build people up. And I say, number one, focus on your quality. First, right? Don't look at the time. First, learn how to execute a great haircut. Once you can execute a great haircut, now you can focus on doing it efficiently. I don't say fast. If you're moving fast and you're grabbing stuff and you're going crazy, that anxious energy is going to transfer to your client. You don't want that. Because you're going to be sitting in the chair like, God damn it, Diggs is rushing my haircut.
Yeah.
And whether it looks good or bad, he's going to feel that I rushed him or I did a bad job. So we don't want to move fast, we want to move efficient. Once you get good at executing the haircut, now you can start taking steps out. Today, we got started late. My time was a little bit shorter, so I might not be as thorough as I usually am. However, you guys might have noticed I started from the bottom and worked my way to the top. I do that out of efficiency. My approach is imagine if you could only cut each strand of hair one time. Where would you cut it? Why not cut it there and you don't have to come back to it? I mean, technically it's impossible to cut each strand of hair twice, but why, if you know this is going to be a 0, why go with a 2, and then go with a 1, and then go with a 0? I just cut that hair 3 times. Wasting my time. Another way to cut down time is tools. If I said, I guarantee you that this will take 6 minutes off of every haircut, right? Would you buy it? What if I told you it was $300? You're like, damn, $300. But if it saves 6 minutes on every haircut,
Saves you money.
and you do 15 haircuts a day, that's saving you an hour and a half. You can get 3 more haircuts in every single day. And whether you charge $25, $30, or $40 for a haircut, that could be anywhere from $70 to $120 a day extra. What's $100 a day for a week? $500. For a month, that's $2,000. So buying one $300 clipper can help me make $2,000 a month. You have to look long term. Same thing with shears. I have tons of shears on my station. I just bought a $400 pair of shears the other day. Why did I buy it? Because when I used it, it cut better than any shear I've ever used in my life. I've had $900 Hanzo shears, right? Okay. But this shear guy came in, pumping it up, and was like, let me try it. I cut it, I was like, whoa, I'll take them. Because it's going to make me better. It's going to make me more efficient. It's going to enable me to execute my job better, and it's going to help me be the best I can be. Don't let something you can buy stop you from being the best barber or stylist you can be. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that a tool is your holdup. Because a tool is a one-time purchase. You buy it and you immediately, you're saying I can immediately be better by buying that clipper? Yes. You're saying I can immediately be more efficient by buying those shears? Yes. You're saying I can cut longer by buying this $200 floor mat? Yes. That's the attitude you have to take to your career. You have to always figure out what's going to make your job easier, what's going to make you more efficient, what's going to make you execute the haircut or the color or the service better, right? So it might take you an hour now, right? But once you feel like you're to the level like, wow, that's a great haircut, now you can focus on taking steps out. You can focus on maybe certain tools, new tools will shave time. what's become very popular lately is cordless trimmers. These have been extremely popular for a while. I know barbers that don't even have plug-in trimmers anymore. And now with the cordless adjustable blade, same thing. Same thing. Investing in tools like this will help you make more money. I do house calls every single week, right? And I charge anywhere from $150 to $200 to give a guy a fade at his house. And I do a minimum of 2 to 8 of those type of haircuts a week. I will show up with 4 tools. These 4 in a little bag. And not need to know where to plug it up. Not have to worry about it going dead on me. And execute a great service. But tools are never going to be my limit. Tools are never going to slow me down from being the best barber that I can be, period. And it definitely, shouldn't slow you down. So right now, we are actually cutting into our 3rd level of weight. And I have, what length do I have on again?
1/8.
1/8, exactly. So I'm going to use my actually I'm using both rules of clipper cutting, 3-tooth blending and circular motion to attack that next level of weight. So Estella, what we did is we took our model Donovan and we're giving him a new popular hairstyle now. It's like Odell Beckham, the NFL guy, right? A lot of guys have been wearing their hair curly up top, getting a nice, clean, low fade underneath. So we started out, and he was a little wilder than he is now. So we started off by giving Donovan a low fade. And we started off using a detachable blade clipper, which is the most powerful clipper on the market from any clipper manufacturer, a detachable blade clipper. We use that to clean the bottom and zero the bottom out. Then I used my Andis Master to start the fade. We created our first guideline and we started blending weight out without a guard, and we've cycled through. Now we're on our 2nd guard, which is the 1/8. Just catching you up where we're at, that's all. Thank you for listening to me. So one thing we talked about earlier is understanding hair texture and knowing when and where to go against or with the grain, correct? So after cycling through the next level of weight with my 1/8, right, I see that there's an odd level kind of just above it, but his hair is super curly. So what I want to do is I want to take that next level of weight and try to brush it down. And do you guys remember what I said about going with or against? If you go with the grain, it's going to cut the hair longer or shorter.
You go with, it's going to be longer.
If I go with the grain, is it going to leave it? It's going to leave it a little longer, right? So I'm going to take that next level and I'm going to brush it down. Since I know going with the grain is going to leave it longer, I'm going to keep my same 1/8, and I'm going to try to nick that ridge with the grain instead of against. And what that's going to do is it's going to hit the top of that curl, and it's going to take that next level of weight out. You guys hear that? And you guys can see the weight kind of right here, right?
And you can do that with anything, with any texture hair?
You can do it with any texture of hair going with the grain to kind of work on a ridge, but it's a technique more reserved for curly hair because curly hair doesn't lay flat. The thing is, with straighter hair, you don't necessarily need it because the hair doesn't clump up to create that weight. Does it make sense? So it's kind of a technique that I use when needed. Bingo, we just took another level of weight. So I've showed you guys fading with detachment combs, right? Another hair cutting technique is called clipper over comb. I broke down the anatomy of this clipper comb earlier. The width, the thickness, right? And the fact that you always want to keep the blade on the spine. If the blade rocks off the spine, you can cut a patch right in somebody's hair. Now, cutting clipper over comb, You want to raise the comb parallel through the client's hair. I know the lengths. We know the math. So I can see the 1/16, the 1/8, right, where I started going with the grain. I can see the lengths and the hair I'm going to cut. Now I'm going to rock back on the spine to adjust the length. And I'm going to make my cut. Cutting clipper over comb will save you a ton of time in the barbershop. I use the first two guards, my 0 and 1, in the shop. I don't use my 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This comb becomes my 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Does that make sense? And it helps me become crazy efficient. So we're going to go all the way around this hair with clipper over comb, getting a higher level of weight. After I do that, it's line-up time. So lining up, right? There's a technique I have called the triple threat finger. When you hold the trimmer on the belly, you're going to use one of your 4 off fingers as a triple threat finger. The triple threat finger has 3 functions. The first function is stabilization. If I just try to hold this trimmer out and line him up, I can't hold it perfectly straight and execute a sharp line. It's moving. But if I put my finger on his skin, I can balance this trimmer. Now I can hold it perfect, I can hold it still, and I can execute a perfect line. That's the first function of a triple threat finger, stabilization. The second function, it's a fulcrum. Once I line up my cut, I rock it forward, like a teeter-totter. Rock it forward, pull it back. The third function of a triple threat finger, right, is it's a compass. Not a compass as in to help you get to a destination, but a compass like in geometry that helps you draw a perfect circle. I'm going to use my pointer finger. It's going to be down here by his ear, and I'm going to spin the clipper in a circle. It's going to help me create the ear arch. I'm going to use my fingernail here, and I'm going to spin it here. And it's going to help me create the temple arch. So your triple threat finger is a stabilizer, it's a compass, and it's a fulcrum. Make sense? Okay. We're going to wrap up really soon, right after I give Donovan this lineup. I hate that I had to cut my day short. If he doesn't have my song on, I'm not going on, damn it. I need my intro music. Lindsay, can you pick out a design? Matter of fact, I know what I'll do. Did you see that design I put on my, huh? What? Okay, did you see the design I put on my Snapchat the other day? It was an undercut, I think like yours. So bingo, I didn't push Donovan's hairline back. I kept it real natural, backing up, letting you guys know what I did. We gave him a low fade, the Odell Beckham haircut. Started off with the zeroed out the bottom. Use my master, not my cordless MD, but I'm using this to kind of clean it up. I cycled through. He gave him a fade using fading with detachment combs, and I cleaned out some of the upper weight using clipper over comb and going with the grain. Does anybody have any more questions before I run out of here? We're good? Yeah? Can we give it up for Donovan? If you I'm teasing. That's my little brother, I think.